I'm Michael Mills. I'm one of the founders of Business Design Corporation and the TouchStone Business System. Business owners and department managers, entrepreneurs, they come to us for many different reasons, but most of the time what we hear is that you are overworked, you're stressed out, and at times it feels like you have to run just to stay even, let alone get ahead. Everyone expresses frustration. Frustration because you crave a sense of control and balance. In your head, you know what you need to do, and you know that working harder isn't the answer. You've already tried that. What you know is that you need to get your company to a place where it is really easy to hire and train great people and get them to do what needs to be done consistently and reliably all the time. So you know you need to do that, but so far you haven't been able to make it happen. In fact, you probably don't even know how to make it happen. Everyone tells you you need to systematize your business. You need to create a business that has great people following documented processes, but no one tells you how to make that happen. A step-by-step functional methodology for getting your company systematized. Many have tried, many have failed. They create a bunch of processes, but the processes, they don't get used because they're disorganized. They're all in different places. They're all in different formats. They're hard to find. Well, that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I want to show you how to create a process-dependent business using a brilliant tool called the TouchStone Business System. And it's much simpler than you think. TouchStone makes it easy to systematically create a process-dependent business by integrating together your organization chart, your employees, and all of your processes. It's a very unique idea, distinguishing TouchStone from all of the other tools that are out there. And we have a proven step-by-step process for making it happen. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through this process. I'm going to teach you how to get your business or the department you manage to a place where it's easy to scale with control. It is easy to grow without the chaos. I will show you how simple it can be to implement your operating procedures to make it easier to train and manage your employees so you can get reliable and predictable results time after time after time. Here's what we generally recommend that you do. I'm going to start by logging into a TouchStone account. And the first thing that we typically suggest is that you come over here, click this button, Org Chart. In your new TouchStone account, you'll have a generic org chart that you will customize and make your own. Click on these three dots in any box, and you'll see that you can add positions, you can remove positions. You can also click on any of the boxes and edit the title of the position. And you can click and drag to move these boxes around if you want to move one position and place it underneath another position. So if someone changes positions in your organization and you want to move that whole position under a new manager, everything in TouchStone is drag and drop. When you're first getting started, you can create your existing org chart. What we recommend, though, is to create the org chart of the future vision that you have for the business, the structure of your business, say, maybe 3, 5, 7 years from now. Creating your org chart, it's usually an assignment that's given to you by a coach or a consultant. And while creating one is an excellent exercise, it usually just gets filed away somewhere. It doesn't get used. So the value of the assignment is lost or wasted. In TouchStone, your org chart is always available. It becomes a fluid, dynamic tool that you'll use to grow your business. It will help you decide and determine who you need to hire next, what they need to do, how to get them up to speed quickly. It also helps you to solve frustrations. It's a remarkably powerful tool. Okay, now that you have your org chart customized, the next step will be to add your employees and assign them to those positions that you just created on your org chart. So I'm going to come up here and click on this little gear icon, and I'm going to select my user accounts, and I'm going to create a new user. Let's call him John Smith. So what I'll do is I'll enter John's email address as his username, and then I'm going to give him a password. I'm going to enter his first name, last name, scroll to the bottom, and click Create User. So now you'll see John appears over here on the left side of my screen, and I want to assign him to a box on the org chart, the position that he fills in my company. When I click on this option here, Control Panel on the right side of the screen, the org chart that I created earlier pops up. It's just in a slightly different format in a tree view. Now John is my inside salesperson, so I'm going to click on Inside Salesperson, and now John's been assigned to that role. If you're a growing company, chances are some of your employees will be filling multiple roles. So in this case, you simply assign individual employees to those multiple roles. Just add them to those different positions on your org chart. Okay, so now you have your org chart customized, you have all of your employees added into the TouchStone account, and you've assigned them to positions or roles on your organization chart. In this next step, you're going to start identifying or naming all of your processes in the business. Now, if someone was to walk up to you and say, what are all the processes in your business? You might find that to be a sort of an overwhelming task. With TouchStone, we help you departmentalize your thinking. You think of your processes in terms of key business functions. And within each key business function, you can organize your processes in categories, or what we call sub-functions. So obviously, you could just create one big list if you chose, but most find that these key functions and these sub-functions really help them remember and identify all of the different processes that they have. What we say is that there are really only 4 key functions that happen in your business. In my business, in every business, there are only 4 things that happen. Everything that happens in a business can be organized in these 4 key functions. The first is what we might call guiding the business, and these are all of your processes for management and strategy, the activities for guiding the business from where you are today to where you want to get to. Getting the business, that's number 2. Those are all of your sales and marketing processes. Running the business, these are all of the activities that are going on behind the scenes, the administrative processes, human resource type processes, financial activities and IT stuff. And then finally, doing the business. These are all of your customer service and customer support activities, all of the processes that are directly related to your clients, not prospects, but to your clients in the performance of the promises that were made during the sales process. Now, you're not stuck with these names, guiding, getting, doing, running. It's easy to change them into terms that may be more familiar to you, such as sales and marketing or strategy and management. But many TouchStone clients say that they really like this sort of less formal, newer naming system. This will be up to you as you customize your TouchStone software. Naming your processes, then, is easy. Just pick a key function, like in this case, I'm going to pick getting the business, for example, my sales and marketing activities. And I ask myself, what do we do to get new business? And you might say, well, we do pay-per-click advertising. We could call it sponsored search or whatever. So I come up here to add that process. I click on processes, then create, and then I give it a name. We'll call it pay-per-click advertising. And then I click save. Then you will continue on and list as many processes as you can think of that are your sales and marketing activities. So you might name processes for email marketing. Updating your YouTube channel. Newsletter campaigns, trade shows, referrals, building strategic alliances, reputation monitoring, and sales follow-up. Okay, now these might be the processes that you have mostly for generating leads. So you might ask yourself, well, after a lead is generated, what do you do? Well, first you might want to qualify them. So you might want to have a process called the qualification call. So you're just listing your processes that you already do. You already know this. Then you might schedule a first appointment. Could be a telephone appointment, could be a site visit. Maybe I'll add site visit. Then you might create a proposal or an estimate, contracts. And then maybe you've got some other processes to follow up with those people that don't say yes right away. So you get the picture. You create a list. It's essentially a table of contents of all of your processes, and you organize them in these 4 key functions. Once you've got this process list for sales and marketing activities, then just pick another key function and start making a list of all of the processes that you have in that category. And you'll identify as many processes as you can think of for guiding the business, for running the business, and for doing the business. This is a great exercise to do with your team, like your sales team, for example, or your administrative staff or production team. And you just simply pick their brains. And after you've picked their brains and you've thought of everything that you can think of, you can actually come up here to our process libraries and scan through to see if there might be a process that you forgot about. For example, you might come up to the finance section and you go, oh yeah, we need an accounts receivable process and a collections process. And so you can select any of these process templates and download them into your TouchStone account. We have a set of process names, many of which are pre-written for each of the 4 key functions, and you can download these into your account and put them to use immediately. Now, in this step, you're not actually writing the processes. You're welcome to do that if you choose, but we recommend that you simply focus on just the naming and organizing of all your processes at this point. It's almost like you're creating a table of contents for all of the things that happen in your business. Having this table of contents of all of these processes, it's going to be super helpful in one of the steps that I'm going to be talking about in a moment, where you're going to start prioritizing the writing of your processes. Like which processes need to be written first. And then you'll create a plan for how to get those processes written, who's going to write them, and by when. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Okay, now you have your org chart built. You have all of your employees added into TouchStone. You've linked them to their roles on the organization chart. And you have now identified and organized all of your processes. In this next step, we're going to link the processes to one or more of the boxes on the org chart. You are essentially assigning which roles in your organization are responsible for which processes. And in the linking of the processes to the specific boxes on your org chart, you're automatically creating job descriptions for each of the positions in your company. You're giving a list of processes that will be used to train and manage an employee who will be filling that position. This is incredibly powerful. For example, let's go over to your org chart, and I'm going to click on the inside salesperson's box. You'll notice that at this point, the box, the job description, is blank. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click on the option Add Existing Processes, and I'll click on all of the processes that an employee filling this position is going to need. I can select from any of the different key functions and subfunctions. A salesperson, they're going to be needing mostly sales processes, so I suspect that most of the processes that this position needs are going to be right here. So I'll link email marketing to the inside salesperson, updating your YouTube channel, newsletter campaigns, trade shows, referrals, building strategic alliances, reputation monitoring, and sales follow-up. But there may be some processes that will be in other key functions. I need for him to be able to submit expense reports. Well, that process is found in the finance subfunction under running the business. I find it right here, and I put a check mark beside it. And now I've linked that process to this position, the inside salesperson. Think about this. As you link each process to a box on your organization chart, you're creating a position-specific operating manual for that position automatically. At the end of this step, you will have a position-specific operating manual for every position in your organization. And so let me show you what that will actually mean. Remember earlier I added a user named John Smith and I assigned him to the position or the role of inside salesperson. And then I linked all of the processes that the inside salesperson needs to that box on the org chart. So now I'm going to log out as myself and I'm going to log in as if I'm John Smith. TouchStone knows that John is the inside salesperson and therefore knows what processes John needs. As John, I click on my position right here, inside sales, and all of the processes I need are served up to me. Here they all are. They're listed right here. I do not need to go hunting for my processes. I do not need to know the name of the process to be able to find what I need to be able to do my job well and consistently, exactly as expected. I can even personally customize the organization of my processes in groups, as you see here. So I might, for example, at the top of my control panel, have all of the processes that I need every single day front and center. And then I might put the processes that I need only occasionally, or maybe my training processes, I might put them sort of at the bottom of my list. Okay, so how does this work? I'm going to click on a specific process like sales follow-up. And all of the instructions for that process are available to me. I know exactly what to do, and my manager knows exactly what I need to be trained in and held accountable to. Now you'll notice a process is more than just a document. We have many companies who come to us in what we have come to call SOP chaos. Their processes are all over the place and in all different types of formats. They have documents of instructions, they have checklists, they have videos and audios for training, they have spreadsheets, Google Sheets, PowerPoint presentations, and they're saved in Dropbox and Google Docs and on local file servers and on users' laptops, and then they have PDF files with pen scratch all over them. I'm guessing you know what I mean. It's SOP chaos, and no one can ever find what they're looking for. And if they can't find what they're looking for, well, they're not going to use it. They're going to make stuff up. And how can you blame them? And that's why it's so frustrating. So TouchStone makes it easy to find what your people need when they need it. In TouchStone, a process is a collection of tools. All of the relevant elements of a process are grouped together under one process name. Now, most processes will have one or more work plans, the detailed step-by-step sequential instructions for doing something. In this sales follow-up process, for example, you're going to see 2 work plans. One is what to do immediately following the sales presentation, and if I click on it, here are all the instructions. And the other is for longer-term follow-up, so checking back in with them, basically staying top of mind. But you'll notice that there are several other tools that are part of the sales follow-up process. There is a checklist to ensure the transferring of a new sold client to operations. Make sure that happens smoothly. And these checklists, by the way, they can be saved inside your TouchStone account. They can be filled out and saved. There are scripts. Scripts are used primarily for training. A new employee can study these scripts, so every inside sales rep is delivering their presentation in a consistent and similar manner. But you can also use these scripts for managing someone who isn't new, someone who's not following the script, someone who's not achieving the expectations that the others are getting who are following the scripts. If you have complicated Word documents, contracts, for example, or maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF file or a PowerPoint presentation that assists in the sales follow-up process, these can be uploaded into this process and the employee has exactly the correct documentation and not some older version that's been left on their laptop. The document tool, this is a very helpful tool. It's essentially like a blank slate where you can add other types of sales age, large graphics, other types of instructions. Information can be gathered and fields can be filled in and completed and saved in custom forms, and then managers can access these saved forms later. Videos and audio files can be uploaded. These are great for training and for reviewing, doing management review with specific employees. Now, not all of the processes will use all of these process tools. It's just important to know that they're all available to you if you need them. So as John, I have access to the org chart. If I click over to the org chart, you'll see that the only position that has been assigned to me, this is the only one that I have that is available to me. The rest are all grayed out. TouchStone allows you to control what processes employees can see as well as what they can do with what they can see. Most employees will have read-only rights, but some of your trusted employees, the ones who you'll need to help you innovate and create your processes, you will give them edit and or create rights. So if I click on my position on the org chart, I get a slightly different view of my job description. These are all of the same processes that we saw a moment ago in my control panel. They're all the same processes that appear there. My control panel is simply a more condensed view, and it's there that I can actually customize the organization of my processes. But the beauty here is that I can actually choose to print a complete operating manual for a new employee, so they not only have access to their processes in the TouchStone platform, but they can also have a printed study guide that you can give them, and you can be sure that this operations manual is always going to be current because it's coming directly out of the TouchStone application. So step back a minute and think about what you've created. You now have what I like to call full functional accountability. You've got all your processes listed. You've got all of your positions organized in your org chart. You've got all of your employees in the system, and you've got all of your employees linked to the roles, and you've got your processes linked to these boxes or these roles. Everything that needs to happen in the business has been assigned to a position, so everything that has to happen has been assigned to someone. All of this, everything that we've done, usually it can be achieved in less than 10 hours. It could be anywhere from 5 or 6 hours. It's a very quick and easy series of steps to take. And once you've built this foundation of your process-dependent business, now you'll start writing your processes. You'll ask yourself, what are the most important processes that need to get written right now? Now you'll notice that I'm not asking what are the most important processes. I'm asking which are the most important processes, the ones that need to be written now. You see, you might have 50, 80, 100 or more processes, and that can be incredibly overwhelming. But if you prioritize the list that you've already created, it's manageable. For example, if I was to tell you that you had 300 processes to write, you would probably put your head in your hands and give up. But if I was to tell you that you only had 12 processes to write, you might say, well, that's easy. I can get that done in a couple of weeks. It minimizes the overwhelm. Now, instead of thinking of hundreds of processes that need to be written, your focus is on 10 or 12. So that's how you get your processes written. You prioritize your list, you write them, you get them implemented, and then repeat. Prioritize, write, implement, and repeat. And eventually, all of your processes will get written. You do not have to write all of the processes yourself. As I mentioned, you can assign, edit, and create rights to those employees who are actually doing the process. If they're capable of writing, then they're usually the best people to write those processes. And you will have your managers assist you with the writing of processes. It is the responsibility of a manager to make sure that all of the processes in their departments are written, they're current, and they're followed. TouchStone simplifies that process for you and your managers. So in summary then, TouchStone ensures that all of your processes are neatly organized. They're offered up to the employees who log in, dependent on the position or the positions that they have, that they've been hired to fill. Each of your employees is simply one click away from accessing everything they need to do exactly what needs to be done. There are no excuses, and no longer do managers and new employees need to hunt for the instructions they need to be able to achieve the expectations that you have of them. Now you have full accountability, ensuring all of your employees are trained in exactly what they need to be trained in. And the TouchStone dashboard, it's mobile compliant, so an employee can access their work plans, they can complete checklists, fill in forms right from their phone or their tablet or their computer. You can also use TouchStone to train new employees as well as existing employees who are not achieving your expectations. As each process tool is trained, you will mark it as trained, and TouchStone will automatically date and timestamp that the training has been completed. So here, I'll show you this one last thing. So I got to log out as John Smith, and I'm going to log back in as Michael Mills. And you'll see that I am the sales manager and therefore John's manager, because John is the inside salesperson. On my dashboard, this is my position, and these are the people in the positions that report to me. If I'm training John, I click on his name as the inside salesperson. I'll start with the first process called sponsored pay-per-click, and I will walk through each of the process tools for the specific process to be trained. And as I train John in each of the process tools, I will click the train button right here and then click save. This timestamps when I train John in this specific process tool. And you'll notice that it also puts a check mark beside that specific process tool that I just trained. And I'll do that for each of the process tools in the process. When I'm done, I click Train All. And if I come over here, I can see the date and the time of the training. But TouchStone is so much more than a simple training application. It's designed to be a process implementation tool. So you can not only train your employees, but you can manage them and hold them accountable to the processes that they agreed to follow. You've got full reports right here to enable you to see who's done what over time. And this is really useful for managers to keep tabs on whether or not someone has completed a checklist or filled in a form. One other thing. At the top right side of the screen right here, you're going to see this button called the Resource Center. Anyone can access the Resource Center right here. You're going to find great training videos, a knowledge base, webinars, tons of valuable content to make creating your process-dependent business that much easier. There's also a place where you can contact support. We have unlimited outstanding support, and we have data migration services. So if you have content already built, we can quickly and easily get you up to speed in a matter of days or a week. In fact, if you register for a 30-day free trial, we'll get your content built into your new application during that free trial so you can actually experience how well the application works using your own data. So that's it. I hope this overview has been helpful. You can use one of the options below if you'd like to take a deeper dive or simply register for a free 30-day trial. If you choose to continue with your subscription after your trial period, we're currently offering unlimited users. So don't delay. Start your free trial now and schedule a time to talk to us. We're looking forward to seeing if TouchStone can solve your process implementation challenges. Thank you very much.